A painful loss for Manchester United, but there is quite a few lessons we can learn from Tottenham 1-0 Manchester United. Welcome to the United of Sport. My name is Webb. Here are the player ratings and key lessons learned, both for the team, the players, and most importantly, for the boss, Ruben Amorim, hopefully. First of all, beautiful stuff to see Chido Obi make his debut. For me, that was one of the key positives in the game. I'll question the decision by Amorim to bring him on so late. But, like I said, this is a year of positivity. The fact that I trust Amorim, I know that he will learn from what he did because he seemed a bit undecided on whether to bring on the kids, yet he had them in his squad. They are the only guys you have on the bench. Your starting players are all tired. Trust them and bring them on for 20 minutes. By the 70th minute, I was expecting at the very worst for him to bring on one or two kids because the Casemiros were tired. Zakzi, who had a very good game for himself, was tired. You could see that you needed a little bit of fresh feet to come in and try and keep these Tottenham players running and make time because they were tired. There are moments in the second half where United had the good chances. They were getting shots on goal quite unusually. They were putting Tottenham under pressure, and you felt if they brought on fresher young legs, they could have made them run and perhaps forced them into errors. But Amorim was a bit jittery. It's like he didn't trust the kids he had, so meaning he brought them on the bench, but he didn't feel they are ready. But then, why bring on Chido Obi in the 90th minute with 3 minutes added? In the 90th minute, you're bringing him on to defend a corner. What's the importance of that? What's the purpose? You would rather then not bring him on at all. So for me, I thought there he mistimed the substitution, and we all know that Amorim has proved to be good with his substitutions. I thought this time around he was so undecided. It took long to make the decision, and that did not do good on him. But that said, going proper into the game, I thought Joshua Zakzi, like I mentioned, had a very good game for himself. The way he beats off people, dodging, and there's something nice to see. When he was good before he got so tired, you saw that he was trying to do something with the ball. And if he's not carrying the load of being the one to score the goals, I think he tries to do something. Casemiro couldn't run like we expected. That's why in my starting 11 I was not putting him there. But by his standards, these bad standards lately, I actually felt Casemiro did not have a very bad game. I'm not saying he played well, but by his poor standards, the guy has not been playing. I think the last game he played was against Newcastle probably. I think he tried to play a bit, but again, his performance was negligible. I thought Harry Maguire for Man United was our most hungry player all throughout the game. He was running, going to score goals, playing long passes, he's the guy who had the fire in him. I thought for me, he had a very a good show for himself. Andre Onana, sticking on the line, doesn't know when to move. I feel like Onana, his body language is looking too bad. Every day it gets worse. Really, I will say it here, it will be difficult for Andre Onana to have a future at Man United unless the lack of resources forces United to stick with him. But trust you me, he's not okay. His body language is so bad. He actually makes his defenders make errors. Even the goal he conceded. You thought, what a better goalkeeper would punch that ball and send it far away. But anyway, I also the Man United defenders will take blame again for the goal because they were not reactive. They were not responsive. The goalkeeper has parried the ball. Where are you? You should be the first to get on it. I think Spurs showed United the same thing because in moments where the Spurs goalkeeper was parrying the ball into the box, there were always Spurs players the defenders to get there fast and clear it. For United defenders, they were shutting off, giving away shots. I thought Tell got so many shots at Onana. That's bad. Well, you can speak volumes about how good Tell is in terms of finding the target, but it also exposes how Man United players don't close. You don't expose your goalkeeper like that. I thought they had way too many chances at goal. Then you look at Mazraoui on and a bit. He tried really. He had a few blocks in there. He had a few good runs. I thought his performance was up and down. I thought he had a fair display for himself. Patrick Dorgu, I feel, will play football. I think Dorgu played a very good game. I thought he was comfortable on the left. I think the only issue, and this is what Dorgu will be complaining about, is Garnacho's selfishness. He was always acting blind to his overlapping runs. That's one. That Garnacho is proving to be selfish again, which is bad. Leave alone the big chance he missed, the biggest chance of the game, that he missed terribly. again showing us his immaturity. I've said it here before that he has been beginning to look mature, but in this particular game, he looked selfish and immature, going back to the same player that Amorim wasn't pleased with. You saw his reaction when he missed that chance. But going back to his selfishness, Dorgu kept making good runs, but he wasn't giving him the ball. Then the other thing is Garnacho was playing in Dorgu's space. If you're the wing back, you should be the one making the runs, the straight runs into the wide areas towards the corner flag. Garnacho, in most cases, was the one in that space where Dorgu should be the one running into with the ball. So he ended up blocking Dorgu at times. That Dorgu was also confused in terms of where he had to be. So I thought Garnacho made Dorgu play poorly. I think because Garnacho loves to play wide, yes, yet he's a 10 and he had to be in, so he kept going there. And it's okay at times to drift wide a bit, but if you overdo it and you block your wing back, then you're missing the point of the system. Amorim will not be pleased with that. Diogo Dalot, his IQ is still an issue. The team is trying to build an attack. You're the winger, you've got the ball alone, you're killing the pace of the attack. You cannot win a game of football like that. For Dalot, again, we keep talking about the same thing with him, and him doing that same thing all the time. Then go to who else? Rasmus Højlund had a few shots at goal. And maybe that's the hope that Amorim had. After the game, Amorim said that the reason why he did not make substitutions when perhaps people felt he should have, that he felt United at any point was pushing for a goal, and he didn't say need to make substitutions, which, yes, we saw United pushing for a goal, but for me, from where I sit, for me that's the moment then where you bring on fresh feet, because Spurs players were clearly tired. And in fact, Postecoglou responded by bringing on fresh feet, the stars of this world, and I think Ferguson and likes, to come in and try and beef up the energy of the team, because Spurs were beginning to look subdued. So what Amorim was supposed to do was bring on the young kids to make the Spurs players run and force them into errors. I thought he miscalculated that. And again, he's not perfect, but that was an issue. Again, of course, it's a thing of not trusting the kids. Perhaps he had them there because he needed to have substitutes, but perhaps under ordinary circumstances, none of them to him was ready to be playing with the senior team. But I mean, trust them at times. At times, you just have to. You see, when you throw them on, even the opposition will shake, because they're like, they don't know what to expect. They're unpredictable. Just bring them on with new energy, just to disorganize the opposition. I thought, for me, that's the one thing I would fault Amorim for. But also, the way Man United played for the most part of the game, too much respect to Spurs, especially in the first half. You don't just sit back and run. That's why players got so tired. Bruno was playing. I almost forgot to speak about Bruno. He was playing. I think this is one of the worst games Bruno has played in the Man United shirt, by the way, in a long time. He was playing poor passes, hitting balls into his own players, hitting, I think, opponents, playing wrong passes. Bruno's game was so ugly. And you see, when it's bad for Bruno, and that's the sad bit about him, when it's bad for him, it's really too bad. It looks so bad. When Bruno has a bad game, it feels painful to watch. I thought it was one of those. He will look back at his performance and feel bad about himself. But speaking of Amorim, I said generally the way the team played from the first half, I thought United gave a lot of respect to Spurs. Spurs were taking all the initiative. All the United players were doing was run around and try to keep them at bay, which certainly made them tired because they were having less time on the ball. Spurs was having possession 80-20%. This is not Man City. It's like United was playing Man City or Arsenal. Prime Man City or Arsenal, prime Barcelona. That's too much respect that Amorim, I think, has an issue with that. But again, you get to understand why it's like that, because look at United players. They are also not so comfortable to hold on to the ball and play good passes to each other. They do it in moments, but they don't have the quality to be consistent. And this is the same team that Ten Hag said the same thing about. They don't have the quality to be consistent with their display. So it was a loss. Yes, United is 15th now. Extremely worrying. Of course, people will throw the stats left, right, and center. Amorim knows, and in his own admission after the game, that I think now he has got known to focus on the big picture, because the position on the log is worrying. It's possible that United could get relegated. He has got to focus now on winning games, a few games, so that the confidence comes back in the team. There's more stability, even in himself, because if you keep losing like this, you're at Man United, people will forget about you being, building something and stuff. So Amorim knows. So he's got to now try to find ways of having Man United win games of football. Whether it means tweaking the system more consistently, whatever it has to do. For now, I think the next thing for him is to find ways of winning 1, 2, 3 consecutive games, and maybe he can now start going back to his general improvements and stuff. Because you win a few games and you look like you're back to safety, but it's too close to the relegation now that it looks extremely worrying, and it will nerve the players. The players will get nervy. So that's what I think. General performance, I won't rate players out of 10. I usually don't want to rate players after a loss, but I'll just say the general performance was below average, 4.5, the general performance of the team. So that's good. That's not good enough. So certainly some stockings need to be pulled. I hope Amorim builds on this by giving Chido Obi more minutes. He's big, he's strong, he's powerful, he's got a presence about him that you saw when he came on the pitch. He fitted into the game. You saw it. So trust him. He will grow. All he needs is the physicality. Subscribe, like, and share. My name is Webb.